a bus driver. In the next few minutes, something's going to happen to him for the first time in his life. He's a sailor in civilian clothes with a pretty blonde by his side. The same thing is about to happen to him. They are a young couple living in Newport, returning to Newport. It's going to happen to them, too, as these three vehicles go over the Newport Bridge to cross Narragansett Bay. Using the bridge is something they do very often, but today there will take place a first in their experience, and it will be a Newport Happening. One thing is certain. What is about to happen for the first time could not have happened just a short while ago. Remember those days in the past, before the bridge was built, and people had to depend on the ferry to get across the bay? Remember? At peak hours, the lines used to build up, stretch out as far as the eyes could see. And oh, those wonderful waiting hours, broiling in the sun. The Ferry Festival at Newport. On that day, BB, before bridge, there the bus driver was on the Newport side, expecting a group of tourists from Hartford. But it would be hours before they got across on the ferry. Now, as it happened in our happening, he wasn't the only one waiting. So was a certain blonde at Vernon Court College, waiting for the sailor, who was waiting and waiting on the ferry line. His car stalled behind the car of yet another blonde. A lady in distress she was, with a smile that said, "I have an idea. It may sound zany, crazy, but it sure will get us across the bay faster than this ferry line." She also had a problem. An invitation to the graduation ceremony of the Officer Candidate School at the naval base across the bay. It looked as though she would be too late to see her boyfriend become an ensign. "Too bad," said the sailor, thinking, "Not too bad." But she wasn't going to give up. There was this kid with a sailboat nearby. "How about it, sailor? Leave the cars here and hitch a ride across the bay?" There was some more talking, and some more looking, and some more talking and looking. And what sailor can refuse a lady in distress? So while those on the ferry line sweated it out, waiting their turn, they set sail for Newport. A ferry tie-up that means boy meets girl. That's good. But it's not such a happy event for a chartered bus driver on the Newport side, waiting for his tour passengers to come across. Off come the loads of people eager to set foot on Newport, but nowhere to be seen is his group. Still stuck on the other side, a no-show, which means a no-dough empty bus for him. Well, what's this young kid doing, seated in the bus? Out. Out. No mood for fun and games with a Little League set. A real live ticket for the Newport tour. Probably bought by his mother because she couldn't get a babysitter. Well, there's nothing a fella can do except do what comes naturally in a bus. Kid or no kid. A spooky face at the window for a young couple on a first visit, here for the folk festival. Understandably, they pass an uneasy eye over the next kid they meet. Down by the waterside, the bus passenger has been let out to let out steam for a while. Now, if the kid just kind of got lost and forgot about the bus, if he only doesn't show up in the next few minutes, maybe. But no such luck. Having had his fill of exploring the marina, the kid heads for the bus and more of Newport. And so, a funny thing happened on the way through Newport. A kid who started out as something of a pest became, yep, something of a pal. That day in the past is on the driver's mind as he approaches the moment when something will happen to him for the first time. As it will, for the first time, happen to the young couple in the station wagon and the sailor in a convertible. All are about to cross the Newport Bridge. Not like that day in the past before the bridge when he and the blondie met on the old ferry line, sailed away across Narragansett Bay. Can you imagine passing her over to her boyfriend? A new ensign to boot. A girl, his kind of girl. And he hadn't even taken her number. And now it's coming closer and closer. It will happen to the bus driver and to the couple in the station wagon. They have driven over the bridge often, but the first time they had come to Newport, there had been no bridge. At folk festival time. The morning after, the way it used to be, especially at festival time. Thousands of music fans arriving and leaving at the same time. Way too many for the ferry to handle. So on this day, why not play tourist? See, hear, feel what makes Newport click. old-time Newporters or new Newporters, they find what they're looking for. A lovely white house with a small for sale sign. And all at once, that first visit to Newport was to be a lifetime thing. And now, they're moments away from something that's going to happen that has never happened before to them. The same for the sailor driving the convertible and the driver of the bus. It couldn't have happened before that spring day when the Newport Bridge was open to the public. First of an infinite number to come across the bridge. Engineer from Philadelphia with an appointment at Kaiser. Family from Manhattan en route to Cape Cod. Admiral from Washington to meet with Raytheon. Trucker from Pennsylvania. Antique collectors from Alabama. Tourists from everywhere. All to come endlessly steadily after the first to go over the bridge. That was a stretch of time ago. And since then, the ferry has sailed into memory. Now, it's only a matter of a few more minutes before the happening. The Newport Happening that will, one day or another, meet with everybody who regularly comes across the Newport Bridge. Since opening day, crossing the bridge has become part of the scene for them. The couple who came for the folk festival have become residents now. And all work and no play is not exactly the idea at Newport. Newport is a town with a lot of flavorful shops to walk in, to browse in, to ooh and ah in, even sometime to buy in. Except when the darn thing's already been sold. One night, late, of course, a call to the obstetrician who lives across the bay.
Hello?
Hello?
Dr. Evans. This is John Langley. Sorry to be calling you so late, but I guess it's about that time.
The ferry didn't run all night, but now he can barrel right across and be on time at the coming out party. Now, as they drive up to the bridge, it's about to happen. In just another moment, today's Newport Happening. So different from that day in the past just after the bridge opened, when his beautiful, bicycling, blonde girlfriend was just finishing a hostel trip through the Berkshires. She was due back about now at their usual meeting place in front of the Viking Hotel. And who does he meet coming out of the hotel with her father? But his blonde shipmate on that day they sailed across the bay. But there was his date, right on time, thanks to the Newport Bridge. But all this is water under the bridge now, as the sailor finally approaches his Newport Happening, which sometimes happens in a way to surprise you. If you don't like it that way, things can be made to happen another way. Any way you want. That's what a happening is all about. Any second now, patient viewer, it will happen. The Newport Happening, that first-time experience. Something not very dramatic, but significant in its own way. Almost there. What's happening? Now hear this. They are going across the Newport Bridge, these people who have used it almost daily since the day it opened. And on this crossing, for the first time, they go across automatically, without thinking of the bridge at all. Without thinking of the bridge at all. It happens to everybody sooner or later. Now is the time for them. That first time when the bridge is just part of the scene. Part of Newport. Beautiful Newport. And isn't that the way a great bridge ought to be?